A Nebraska business owner is breathing a sigh of relief today after a robbery last week.
And we speak with Lancaster County Election Commissioner Dave Shively. Hear what he has to say and more. Star City News starts now.
Broadcasting live from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. This is Star City News live at 5, bringing you the latest in news, weather, sports, and entertainment. And now, Star City News.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Paige DeMacos.
And I'm Jenna James. Here's tonight's top story.
Police have arrested two men they believe tried to rob a Lincoln tobacco store earlier this month. Star City's Joshua Kellums is live on location to tell us what happened. Josh, how did they catch these guys?
Paige, the arrests were made thanks to an anonymous tip to Lincoln Crime Stoppers, as well as a tip from a customer to the store's owner, who immediately contacted police.
18-year-old Cameron Beatty and 18-year-old Anthony Olderback earlier this week on suspicion of burglary and attempted robbery of a West Lincoln tobacco store. According to police reports, two burglars entered Wicked Smoke on 16th and West O at 12:30 a.m. October 13th. One of the store clerks pointed a taser at a burglar and hit him as he fled the scene. Store clerk Norma Johnson was working the night of the robbery and said she couldn't believe what was happening.
I really thought it was a joke. And so, we just kind of took it as that until, we realized at which point, they started pulling my coworker over, that it was no longer a joke.
The burglars came back 4 hours later once the shop had closed, smashing the front door and stealing cigarettes. On October 17th, police received a possible ID from the store owner and an anonymous Crime Stoppers tip. Police contacted Beatty and arrested him after they found marks on his back consistent with taser burns. Olderback was arrested 3 days later. After finding out the police had made an arrest, Johnson said she felt a tremendous amount of relief.
That they're off the streets and they're not going to do it to anyone else.
Had in place were several high-definition security cameras. However, the store owner did tell me that they're now adding a new locking metal frame for the front door, as well as hiring security personnel for extra safety. Reporting live from Wicked Smoke in West Lincoln, I'm Joshua Kellums.
Police say Beatty and Olderbach could face additional charges on top of attempted robbery. Police responded to a report of shots fired last night in an alley at 24th and Dudley.
Shots were heard in the area. Officers did locate two spent shotgun shells in the alley.
Police say they are looking for a red or orange two-door car in connection with the shooting. Witnesses said a man with short hair was driving. There were no signs of damage and no one was injured.
The burned body of a man found tied up in a ditch in Ashland is still unidentified after 4 weeks of investigation. Sarpy County officials have been checking up on national and local missing persons reports, but still have no leads. The office released this sketch of the victim, a male around 5'6", 160 pounds, with short, dark brown hair, a beard, and mustache. Sarpy County Lieutenant Mark Trapp says he's never seen this amount of manpower devoted to a single case. The office has enlisted several departments to help. If you have any information, please contact the Sarpy County Police at 402-593-2288.
Nebraska voters will see several amendments on this year's ballot, but there's one issue that still needs debating: whether or not you'll need identification when you cast your vote. Star City's Johnny Adcox has more.
A majority of states have passed voter ID laws that could affect this election. Pennsylvania's was recently rejected by a federal court, but only one state's attempt failed to make it past the legislature.
Here in Nebraska, State Senator Charlie Jansen tried unsuccessfully to pass a similar law. In an interview with Star City's Jenna James, the senator explained why having one of these is so crucial for us to have a fair election.
When my wife goes to the polls, I go to the polls, we're always kind of surprised that we don't have to show an ID to verify who we are. It's a very sacred right to vote, and I want to ensure that the integrity of the election is held in check. I think you'd have to bury your head in the sands to say there's never been voter fraud in Nebraska.
Experts say there isn't evidence of fraud in Nebraska, and David Shively, the Nebraska County Election Commissioner, says we're safe.
We haven't had any cases of voter fraud on Election Day.
State Senator Ken Shills wants to see another attempt to pass a voter ID law in Nebraska and says prevention is key.
I still continue to look at it as leadership, and that if you're actually leading on issues, you're going to bring things up that there really isn't a problem for today, but you can see that in the future there could be a problem. Heading that off at the pass, I think, is important.
But other senators, like Heath Mello, disagree.
There's no need to create solutions to problems that don't exist right now, particularly when these solutions that are being created cost millions and millions of dollars.
And this issue will have to be settled sometime after the election. I'm Johnny Edcox for Star City News.
Senator Jansen said he's taking the year to rework his bill and is hoping to propose it next Senate term.
Lincoln may have another makeover in its downtown area. Nebco Inc. has announced its plan to build an office building between the state capitol and the county city building. The proposed name is the 3 Landmark Center, a 90,000 square foot, 3-story office building with underground parking and an adjacent 2-story parking garage. Nebco plans to spend over $16 million on the project, $2 million of which will come from city taxes. The city council will vote next Monday whether or not to approve the plan. You know, Paige, I really hope that they actually build those parking garages since there's hardly any parking downtown.
I know, it's almost impossible to find a parking spot, and especially with the new arena being built, we really need those. Coming up after the break, our own Alicia Tesfalm has more about college students and their finances. Stay tuned.
Lincoln's first 22 days of October weather have been anything from record lows to 1-inch rainfalls. And this past weekend, we even saw unseasonably warm weather. Will Mother Nature ever make up its mind? I'm Chief Meteorologist Ben Dornbach. Taylor Knust will be live next telling you yay or nay for the next 7 days at least.
Star City News live at 5.
Join us on Tuesday, November 6th, as your UNL student news team, Star City News, gives you live, up-to-date election coverage throughout the night. Starting at 7 p.m., we will have the most in-depth election coverage from both the national and state elections. Don't miss anything from this historic night. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Star City News, only on Channel 21.
Welcome back. It's College Bound Week, and UNL is raising awareness about free tuition assistance for qualifying students.
The College Bound Week purpose is to have students take the opportunity to attend one of 4 NU campuses and to pay no tuition.
Income family, and you do what we've asked you to do as a student, and that is work hard, get good grades, take the rigorous curriculum, that the University of Nebraska will make sure that there are grant funds from federal, state, and university sources.
College Bound Nebraska will pay for students' tuition. Many students at UNL have benefited from the program.
And college is already expensive as it is, and it's hard to pay it off. You know, you don't want to take out a lot of loans your first semester, or it's my first semester here, so I've realized how much financial aid has an impact on your life.
By providing for them to have access to higher education, that captures that talent, nurtures that talent, and develops that talent for the benefit of us all.
These funds make a post-secondary education a reality for many and better Nebraska's future.
And that's why Congress and the taxpayers pay for these programs, to make it possible for students that are unfortunate enough or unlucky enough to be born to poor families, that they have the opportunity to go to school the same as the children of wealthy families.
UNL is targeting middle school students so that they can prep themselves for college. I'm Alicia Tesfalm reporting for Star City News. Back to you, Jenna.
You know, it's been pretty gloomy around Lincoln lately, so hopefully our meteorologist Taylor Knust has a look at some better weather this week. Taylor?
Now for Star City weather with meteorologist Taylor Knust.
That's right, Jenna. We're going to see a little bit of sunshine and then a little more cold weather coming up here. If we take a look at the national map, I can show you why. Lincoln's kind of caught between 2 air masses. We have a warm tropical air to the south, and then we have some Canadian cold air that's slowly making its way here, and we will see that by Thursday. If you look towards eastern Nebraska right now, though, it is fairly comfortable outside. We did have clouds earlier today, but those have cleared off and made it a fairly comfortable day, 67 in Lincoln and 70s across the region. Going into your overnight tonight, we're going to have a warm front that will slowly move its way up, and that will keep temperatures fairly warm in southeastern Nebraska. But on the cool side of that warm front, we are going to have temperatures down into the low 40s. Going into tomorrow, we are having a cold front that will be moving through the area, and that's why we have the big discrepancy in temperatures. We are going to have lower 80s to mid 80s here in southeastern Nebraska, and then to the west, it will be a lot cooler in the mid to low 60s. The reason again for that is we do have a cold front that is going to be moving through the area starting tomorrow into tomorrow evening. With that cold front, there will be a slight chance for some severe weather, some severe hail, and then also some gusty winds. That will be a little hit or miss. It won't be a widespread event by any means, but there is that chance. After that cold front does move through, though, we are going to more than likely see some precipitation. There's a very good chance of that. A lot of areas will see up to a half of an inch, and then in some local areas we'll see almost up to an inch of rain, so that will definitely help our drought conditions across the area. But for the capital city tonight, we are going to have overcast and mild conditions with 59 degrees for your low, winds south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. And then for your 7-day outlook, after that nice 80-degree day tomorrow or on Wednesday, temperatures are going to plummet. A 30-degree drop there into your Thursday, and then it should be much of the same going into your weekend. Game day on Saturday, high is only going to be 50 degrees, and game time's at 7, so we're expecting temperatures for game time to be low 40s to upper 30s. So definitely want to bring a jacket for that. That is all for your forecast today. We will be right back right after the break.
Welcome back. Presidential candidates weren't just competing with each other at last night's debate. Monday Night Football and the final bracket determining the World Series pulled viewers in multiple directions. That didn't make the Twitterscape any less exciting, though. Over 6.5 million tweets avalanche feeds with comments and responses to candidates' answers and one-liners. The hottest hashtag topic came from the crossfire about the U.S. military.
You mentioned the Navy, for example, and that we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets.
The hashtag horse and bayonets tweeted at 105,000 tweets per minute. However, fact checkers found a discrepancy with the president's bayonet count. They say it's still standard issue for rifles to be equipped with a bayonet attachment for each military personnel. Romney's most popular phrase to be tweeted said Obama apologized for America in his first presidential visit to the Arab Spring.
It began what I've called an apology tour of going to various nations in the Middle East and criticizing America.
Apology tour was the third most popular trend for tweeters, but they really seem to love moderator Bob Schaefer's last words.
We all love teachers. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Schaefer's love of teachers was the second most frequent trend. Apple released the fun-size iPad mini today. At the unveiling, Senior VP of Worldwide Marketing, Phil Schiller, said it weighs nearly half a pound and it's almost a quarter smaller than the standard iPad. Schiller says that it's just as powerful as its predecessor, and it will be available November 2nd, starting at a little over $300. Why pay millions for product placement on a television show when you can just produce your own? TV show, that is. Brands like Subway and Ford have started using venues like Hulu and YouTube and Tumblr to promote their merchandise in 5 to 10 minute short videos, complete with a cast of interesting characters as well as storylines. Ford Motors Escape My Life stars comedian and actress Natasha Leggero. Leggero's character finds herself in a decked out Ford Escape, but it comes with a catch.
Hey, what's up?
Who are you? Where did you come from?
My mom. I'm just kidding. I'm Barry from Detroit. I come with the car. Sorry, I was catching 40 winks in that spacious rear back seat.
Premium shots show off product and are woven in and out of the plot, while bits of dialogue casually drop interesting feature details. That's all from the social media desk. You can follow us at Star City News UNL on Twitter as well as Facebook. I'm Zach Ravenzi reporting. Paige?
Thanks, Zach. As usual, social media is always interesting, especially during the debates. Jenna, did you get to see any of what was going on Twitter last night?
I did, and it was really nice to see both Romney and Obama post on Twitter. But did you also see that Major League Baseball was trending last night?
I did see that. You know, it was a big Game 7, and our own R.C. Hansen has that and more.
And now, time for Star City Sports.
The Huskers made another late comeback against Northwestern last Saturday. Nebraska tied a school record for a fourth quarter comeback. The Huskers scored 13 points in the final quarter to beat the Wildcats 29-28. The win kept their Big Ten title hopes alive, but this week's game against Michigan could determine who will represent the Legends division at Indianapolis in December. The game will feature two of the Big Ten's most mobile quarterbacks in Taylor Martinez and Denard Robinson. Game time is at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Speaking of Taylor Martinez, he moved up in the Nebraska's all-time passing list. Martinez is now second with 5,335 passing yards. He passed Eric Crouch and Joe Gans after his 342-yard performance against Northwestern. Martinez is behind Zach Taylor, who broke the record from 2005 to 2006. There is something special Nebraska will be celebrating this Saturday. Even though November 3rd isn't until next Saturday, the Huskers will be celebrating the 50-year sellout streak anniversary against Michigan. Nebraska will be at Michigan State next week. The sellout streak started against Missouri in 1962 on November 3rd, and the Huskers have sold out 322 consecutive home games. Season ticket holders can receive a free picture at Huskers Authentic. The Husker volleyball team won't have any time to relax this week after returning home from a 3-0 sweep of Illinois. Nebraska will host Ohio State Friday night and top-ranked Penn State Sunday afternoon. Nebraska remained number 4 in the nation as the top 12 didn't change after the weekend. Last night was a presidential debate, but something else was being decided as well. The Detroit Tigers played the San Francisco Giants tomorrow night. The Giants rolled over the St. Louis Cardinals 9-0 to advance to the World Series. San Francisco won the series 4-3. Detroit made it to the World Series after sweeping the New York Yankees 4-0. The matchup could be displaying the National and American League MVPs with Buster Posey and Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera. The game starts in San Francisco at 7 p.m. on Fox. After giving up on fighting the anti-doping charges, Lance Armstrong was stripped of his Tour de France titles. The 7-time winner will be banned from professional cycling for life. Companies such as Nike have severed ties with Armstrong last week. So back to you, Jenna.
See?
Coming up after the break, we'll be speaking live with Lancaster County's Election Commissioner, Dave Shively. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more Star City News.
Welcome back. As we approach 2 weeks until the election, one man has been gearing up for the busiest day of his year. We are now joined live on the phone by the man behind the elections in Lancaster County, Commissioner Dave Shively. Commissioner, how are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We wanted to ask you, election night is a big night for you. What will you be doing on election night?
I'll be doing a little of everything, but probably the most important thing is we'll be finishing up the day, and then we start counting ballots right around 8 o'clock that night, or about 8:30, as the precincts start bringing their ballots back into the office. So that'll keep us busy the rest of the evening.
And have you seen an increase in early voting this year and for this election?
Oh, certainly. Early voting has increased dramatically over the last 10 years, but we're really seeing an increase this year. We're currently at about 26,000 people have requested absentee ballots, and we anticipate that number will go well over 30,000, which will be a record for Lancaster County.
And can you give us a percentage, about how many absentee ballots are being cast this year?
Probably when it's all said and done, we'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 27% of the total ballots cast will be cast by early voters.
And what precincts have been the busiest for you thus far?
Well, on election day, probably the busiest in a presidential election will certainly be will be the precinct there on the university campus. It's 3D precinct, and with all the students, a lot of students are going to be involved in the election, and they will certainly be one of the busiest. And then some of our precincts in some of the faster growing areas of Lincoln, some of the newer development areas will also be very, very busy.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner, for joining us tonight. We look forward to speaking with him again on election night.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up after the break, a big Hollywood wedding, and one of TV's biggest daytime hosts gets honored.
Star City News live at 5.
Welcome back. We now take you to our entertainment anchor, Chi Riley, with a look at what's going on with the celebrities. Chi?
Whoever is happy with others will make others happy too. That's from Mark Twain. Monday night, Ellen DeGeneres was honored with the Mark Twain Prize of American Humor. This award goes to those who make significant contributions to the world of American comedy. And keeping it lighthearted, DeGeneres joked, "Thank you, PBS. I'm so glad to be a part of your final season." Of course, referencing presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Oh, that Ellen DeGeneres, just so funny. Cue the wedding chimes. Last week it was announced Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel are married. Surprise! After dating 5 years, the wedding bells rang in what Timberlake is calling a magical Italian ceremony. The newlyweds gave People magazine exclusive rights to their big day. So what did the Seventh Heaven Star's gown look like? People magazine said Biel wore a non-traditional pink. The photos and story will debut tomorrow on People.com, and the wedding issue will be out later this week. Taylor Swift fans are hearing red. The country pop star released her highly anticipated fourth album, Red, today. iTunes reports that Swift had already sold out, or is already #1 in 31 countries with online downloads. And all this week, Taylor Swift will be buzzing around from Good Morning America and wrapping up her album promo tour at the Country Music Awards in Tennessee next week. Nebraska, we're about to get our moves like Jagger on. Maroon 5 announced Monday that they're headed to the CenturyLink Center in Omaha on their Overexposed North American Tour March 3rd of next year. Joined by special guests Neon Trees and Owl City, tickets go on sale this Saturday, 10 a.m. You can insert the screaming girl now, me. I'm so excited for Adam Levine. I'm Chi Riley with your entertainment news. Back to you, Jenna and Paige.
Thanks, Chi. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jenna James.
And I'm Paige DeMacos. Have a good night, Lincoln.